What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be tying up a golden stone pattern that I had a request on, and I am going to talk through this whole video. It's about 9 minutes and 44 seconds, so yeah. You usually don't get to hear all of my blunders or see all of my mistakes, and I had a Patreon, but then I started feeling kind of guilty about that. I feel like that's gatekeeping. So I decided, let's just do a completely, unedited video. There's a couple little edits to save time in here, but I show all of my mistakes and everything that happens in this video. So starting off there, we just tied in some turkey biots, or goose biots actually, and I hit it with a little bit of a whip finish and some super glue, and then we're going to slide our Saluda bead up. This is a size 10 Ahrex FW531, and the thread that I'm using is 12-aught Veevus, and then my lead-free wire there is hairline 0.20, I think it is. The size of the bead, I think it's a 3.8 millimeter. I'm not 100% sure. I just kind of throw my beads in a container, and then I choose whatever I want for the hook size. I just put it on there. Yeah, this looks good, whatever. Anyway, so after I lay my wire down there, I like to go in between those wraps of wire with my thread a little bit. It helps to keep that thing from spinning around on you. You don't want that weight spinning around. At least I don't want the weight spinning around. And then I throw a little bit of that super glue in there, and I'm going to work my way all the way back to the rear. No, it's not really that necessary. Honestly, it's pretty much just a waste of thread in most scenarios, but I do build up a little bit of a bump. And then I grab my goose biots, and when I go to tie them in, they start to spin on me there. No problem. Just grab it and pull it around exactly how you want it. When tying in goose biots, Charlie Craven has an incredible technique. He's a left-handed tyer as well, which really just trips me out, but his technique of doing the tails are very good. So if you go look at any video that he has with biot tails, he will show you how to do them better than I can. So right here, I decided to pull this back, and I was going to use it to work on my taper for the abdomen, but it's after I cut it, I just kind of felt like that was kind of unnecessary because I'm using dubbing. So I decided to cut the other one off right there, which was a mistake because then it left a bump, and those little bumps right there can definitely cut your thread, so you have to be careful with them. So I just moved my thread around a little bit, try to get that down as flat as I can, and then I remembered again, oh yeah, I'm putting dubbing on this, so it doesn't matter. Then I'm grabbed some of this fulling mill, I think it's called bug back, and dark veined, and I want to tie that in, and I like to have that piece a little bit thinner than I use for the piece on the thorax. I think that it makes the fly look better, in my opinion. I'm no expert, but it does look better. And then we're going to grab some Brassie wire here. I really like the UTC Brassie wire. I don't know what it is about. It's like it's more bendy, more malleable, and it doesn't break nearly as easy in my findings. And then I blended some Vicuna dubbing here. I used all different types of colors. I used bamboo UV, I used some dry fly dubbing, I used the golden stone color, a little bit of black, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of brown, and I came up with this nice little concoction here, and I think that it gives it just a buggy enough look while also keeping that golden stone color. I have seen some dubbings on the market that are very similar to this, but I don't know, man. I feel that it's better to make your own when you're trying to target a specific bug. If you buy it and you use it straight out of the box, it's not always perfect, right? So, as you've seen there, I twisted my dubbing, and that really does help to tighten that up if you just twist it and then spin your vise. And now I'm pulling that bug back over, get that secured down, and snip it off. Also, I'm sorry if I'm annoying you with my yapping, but yeah, I figured might as well do something different for the channel. So now we're going to wrap this up, and I couldn't decide at this part if I wanted to keep coming forward or if I wanted to just grab it underneath there, but I did, which made the next part a little bit more difficult because now I have a wire bump that I have to get through when I tie my materials down. One thing that I don't like about UTC is it is harder to break because of how malleable it is, so that's why it looked like I was trying to start up an old helicopter. Then we're going to tie in some medium holographic tinsel from Veevus. This stuff is your run-of-the-mill tinsel, but they have a lot of colors, so that's why I use Veevus, and I'm on their protein, so that's another reason. Then we're going to tie in a little bit thicker piece of this bug back here, and I want to make sure that I get this perfectly centered. If you don't get it centered when you go to tie it in, you can wiggle it around a little bit, but just tying it in right the first time, it really does help. As you see there, I pulled it towards me a little bit. That's going to give me the perfect little spot that I want it. Now we're going to grab some more of this dubbing here, and you'll notice that my thread is behind the eye there, and that's because I want to be able to work the dubbing back. That way I don't have to slide the dubbing up my thread, because when you do that, a lot of times it makes the dubbing loose, and I do it a lot on different flies, but when I remember that, hey, this is the easier way to do things, then I do it like that. And I know a lot of you guys watch my videos and you see me tying these perfect flies in 1 minute, and you never get to see like the little mistakes and, you know, the little blunders. And I do make mistakes, so that was the point of doing this here. So I add a little bit more dubbing there and come to the middle, and then I'm grabbing whatever these off-brand, probably from Temu, crap legs, but they do get the job done, and they are rubber, so whatever. After I get that tied in, I'm going to grab just a little bit more dubbing, and again, I leave about 1 inch of thread there because I want to make sure that I secure those legs further before worrying about bringing that dubbing forward. Once everything looks good, I'm going to grab that bug back and pull it over, and usually I will grab the legs and pinch them out of the way. And that's, as you see right here, I didn't. That's why I struggled pulling that over and getting it perfect. I should have pulled the legs out of the way and then pinched it down like a pinch wrap, but I didn't. Then I'm going to grab that tinsel and pull that forward as well. I'm going to pull everything back here and cut this off. And I made a mistake, and you'll see it here in just a second. I pull the tinsel back, that way it doesn't leave a little notch up there. I cut that off. My first cut right here was fine. The second cut, or no, the first cut, you can see where I just pushed that tinsel back down. The first cut ended up breaking my tinsel right there, but luckily, from where I pulled the tinsel back before I cut it off, it gave me an extra like millimeter to work with, which was perfect for me to be able to secure it again. I just put a little 3-turn whip finish in there, and the reason I only used 3 turns is because I was going to take some orange thread and make a hot spot, but I don't know, I didn't think it would look right, so whatever. And it's getting a full resin, you know, a full resin bump over top of the thorax, and I also took the resin and put it around it, I believe. But yeah, so stoneflies aren't really that buggy as compared to like a mayfly, so I wanted to come in here and clean up this dubbing a little bit. And this dubbing, by the way, if you've never tried Vicuna dubbing, it's really hard to work with, but if you blend it with other stuff, it makes it so much better. We put some UV Craft fly tying resin on there, and I zoom out so you can see everything here. I pull my legs forward and snip those, and I'm making sure that I'm not putting a lot of tension on these legs because I want to make sure that they cut perfectly. Once I get that right, that's about it. Appreciate you guys for being here, and I will catch you on the fly.